Hello everyone, it's me, Himawari, and we're back with our second car review for this channel. Well, I've got nothing else to say other than this review will be basically the same as the last one. Few things will change here and there, and by that I mean not a lot, but that's it. Let's review some more cars. We have 5 more cars to review today. One of them is not a car. Again, I really don't think this is gonna work in the end, but oh well. Let's get right into it. But first, let's talk about today's sponsor. This video is sponsored by Taco Bell. Hi, I'm Himawari Uzumaki. Have you ever wanted to use the restroom and just clear out your entire system? I don't think that's what it's called, but well, boy, do I have the answer for you. Come to our local Taco Bell, where we'll have all of the best. No, 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 stop. No, no, stop. No, we're not doing this, damn it. No, no. Wow, we're instantly canceled. Taco Bell's gonna kill us. We're screwed. For our first car of the day, we have what I call the Oh, come on, man. Are you serious? For our first car of the day, we have what I call the Shark Thruster 9000. The Shark Thruster 9000 is a very sexy car. If this car was a person, I would have sex with it. Moving on, the car is probably the most visually pleasing car we've had on this show so far, even though it does look a little rusty and old. But as you can see on the front, we have a nice little grille right here, and the headlights look like glowing red eyes. So that way, when you run pedestrians over, you can let them know that you're not f***ing around, and you are going to run them over and thrust them with the engine of the car. That's why it's called the Shark Thruster 9000. So, on the top, we have these cool little pipes sticking out of the thing, and I just went through the car. As you can see, the wheels look very visually disgusting. However, I think I just heard something fire. But anyway, um, as you can see, let me bring you around to the side of the car. We'll do it ourselves. So as you can see, we have this really cool logo of a shark. I think it's a shark with the sharp red teeth right on the door. And as you can see, the door handles are all the way back here because this is only a two-seater car. But I do like, and there's the gas thing right here. Unlike most cars, the gas thing is is right near the front of the car, which is interesting. And like I said, the wheels are lackluster at best. Then we have a design right here that I'm assuming says shark, which is again why it's called the Shark Thruster 9000. In the back, we have this weird looking thing. I don't know what it's called. And as you can see, the headlights are missing. Actually, no, the headlights are the brake lights are right there. But we do have these exhaust pipes right here that allow flames to come out. And so the Shark Thruster 9000 is a very pleasing car. It's a very beautiful car. There's some blood in there, because I was testing this car earlier and I did run over some pedestrians, but we're good to ignore that. Let's check the inside of the car. So now we're inside the Shark Thruster 9000. I've got to say, this is the most coolest looking inside of a car that I've seen on this show so far. That did make sense. But the point of the matter is, as you can see right here, the dashboard has all this high tech. I mean, I have a GPS system, I have a satellite right there, and up here we have the speedometer, and right here we have our symbol. Now, oh, there's a little button right here. If you press this button right under here, it'll play a song. I can't play it, but the song will lure children close to you, so that way you can run them over with the car, which I think is a really interesting feature because I don't really get the point of it. However, there's this weird thing up at the front. I can't really reach it, but that is supposed to tell you your social security info if you need to get some banking information right out of you. I'm not sure what the purpose of that is, and maybe it'll honk the horn. The horn sounds pretty basic for a car. There are no seatbelts, but the seats are very comfy and fashionable. As you can see, we have the door handle right there, and I know it's called the BMW Shark, but not to me, it's not. And the keys, and we turn on the car. As you can see, so that's pretty awesome. Strong engine. Now let's turn the music off. Just turn it off. Alright, there. Now let's see how it drives. Alright, we're driving the Shark Thruster 9000. And right off the bat, oh god, okay, whoa, okay. There's not a lot of grip on this car. However, the car is surprisingly not fast. I thought the car would go faster because it does look like a sports car. Oh God. Okay. Let me just focus. Yeah. So the grip is a little off, but the car is nice enough. It'll definitely attract the ladies on your fifth date. You have to pass dates 1 through 4 to take her in this car because otherwise she's gonna shit herself. But the point of the matter is that I think the car is relatively nice. Okay, now let's get out of the car and let's give it its official rating. Overall, the Shark Thruster 9000 I thought was the most visually cool. The visual the Can I like go like a day? Can I like is stuttering gonna be like my new thing now? So as I was saying, the Shark Thruster 9000 is probably the most visually awesome looking car that we've had on this show. I mean, I love the design on the side, and I think the design of it is pretty interesting. I like the grill on it and the red headlights and the red well, actually most brake lights are red. But the car visually is awesome. The dashboard was impressive. The chairs were nice and comfortable. There was no rear window, but then again this thing didn't have a roof. But yes, the grip is a little weak and it doesn't go as fast as I would like it to. However, I think the visual side of things definitely helps this car's rating. So, in my biased opinion, I do believe the car gets about a 9 out of 10. Definitely the best rating we've had on the show so far. At least I think so. I kind of forgot what the highest rating was in our last video. But let's get on to the next vehicle of the day. Hello everyone, this is Himawari here. I just wanted to, so as you can see, yes, this is a forklift, it's not a car. I know I said earlier we're going to be reviewing 5 cars and one of them wasn't going to be a car. Well, I'm the host of the show, I can do what I want, so we're not going to review the forklift, and no, I'm not going to call it what it was supposed to be called. We're going to review every vehicle that is not a designated car will be in their own separate videos, because, I mean, that would make more sense. So, let's move on to the real next car, shall we? Let's go. For our next car of the day, we have what I call the stinky. This, this is this is the stinky. It's not even that funny. This is the. What was that voice crack? This is the stinky. This is the stinky pinky. And yes, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a stinky pinky car. Right off the bat, thank you for having an actual license plate on the front that says Flamingo. I was gonna call this car the Stinky Flamingo, but that's very uninspired, so instead I called it the Stinky Pinky. So, I believe this car works well. It's definitely the smelliest car I've ever seen in my life, because if you go to the back near the exhaustion pipe, it does smell like an opened can of seafood, which I think is disgusting. I don't really know how that's possible considering this is a car, but we're going to ignore that fact. Now let's get onto the actual review of the car. So right off the bat, we see that the tires look relatively normal. They don't really have a well, actually they do have a they actually no they do. But the headlights are they're just your typical headlights. The grill is basically the grill. The front of the car looks pretty much like your everyday normal car. Nothing special here. The car overall doesn't really look all that special, aside from the fact that it's a pink car. Um, I may be a girl, however, that doesn't mean I'm gonna drive this bright bubble gum pink thing. I don't want to drive this one. I mean, it's just a little too much for me. I mean, I get they try to do a white thing. They try to do a white ceiling on the top, but that doesn't really help. Um, there's no really need to go into the cargo area in the back because it just looks like everything else. There's no need to review that. So let's go inside the stinky pinky. Actually, that actually doesn't sound right when you think about it. Let's get in. Let's go inside this car and check out the inside. All right, so I'm in the back of the Stinky Pinky in the. I swear to God, either I'm gonna make a stutter compilation or someone else is gonna make a compilation of me stuttering. Now we're in the back of the Stinky Pinky, and just like I said with the trunk, there's really nothing that important to talk about here. Although it is interesting to note that the inside of the whole car is white, aside from the seats and of course the front, which I'll get to in a minute. But there are no seatbelts, which is interesting. Although interestingly enough, this is not your typical car seat. This is actually a small red couch, which I thought is pretty interesting that they were able to put a couch and they were able to fit a whole couch inside the Stinky Pinky. I don't know how they did that really, because you can't even open the back doors, so you have to crawl through the front to get into the back, into the way back of the Stinky Pinky. So that's just how this works. So yeah, nothing really else to write about here. So let's go to the front and let's see what it looks like. Okay, so I'm in the driver's seat of the Stinky Pinky, and as you can see, we do have a rear view mirror, even though I can't see anything out of it. There's another mirror right here, but I also can't see out of it. There's no mirror on the right, which is weird. We have a typical dashboard. We have an old radio from the 1980s, which is a little weird. And as you can see right here, it says FUMA, and FUMA is talking about the fumes that you inhale when you try to smell the Stinky Pinky, and which will give you immediate lung cancer, and your nose will also get cancer. Which I don't even know if nose cancer is a thing, but it will be if you smell this car. And as you can see, there's this weird thing right here, which is actually it's actually a little supposed to be a little mirror. It's supposed to show you your dreams. And as you can see, my dreams are messy and clunky, which sounds about right. So let's start. Hold on, let's honk the horn. Okay, it sounds just like the Shark Thruster 9000. Nothing special here. There are again, once again, no seatbelts. There is no lever here, so you're kind of screwed on that end. But and you got a pretty basic screen right here. There's a little compartment right here. You can stick your papers or documents in there. Now, there is no cover, so it's all going to fall on the floor. There's also no accelerator or brake pedal, but hey, we're going to ignore that. So, let's get the car started and let's see how it drives. All right, let's turn the car off. Okay, that's a very loud, okay, just turn it off. Just turn it off. Thank you. Now let's turn the music off, turn it down, and now let's get started. Alrighty, and we're driving the Stinky Pinky. The Stinky Pinky, it's so far it's pretty normal. It goes about as fast as you would think a car like this would go. There's nothing really all that special. Let's take a turn to the left here. Good turning, not a bad grip. So it drives pretty well. I just hit a speed bump there. Let's go to the right. So yeah, the Stinky Pinky, it's basic. The name is the only thing that you're gonna remember about it. But so far, this is probably our most simple car on the list, but it is also interesting enough for the name alone. So let's get out of the car and let's give it its official rating. So the Stinky Pinky, it's your pretty average run-of-the-mill car. There's something really all that interesting about it, aside from the name and the smell, because this is the smelliest car I've ever seen in my whole life. Well, actually smelled, but you get the point. It's just your basic run-of-the-mill car, nothing really too fancy about it aside from the name, which is you'll get a good laugh out of for buying it, and you can make a lot of good jokes about it. Um, so it's pretty decent car. So the Stinky Pinky will get about it gets about a 7 out of 10 for me. Now let's move on to our next car. For our next car of the day, we have okay. There's a plane flying overhead, and the engine's really loud. But we're ignore that. As I was saying, for our third car of the day, we have what I call the Pigmobile. But not just any Pigmobile. This one is the specific model type of the Lollycatcher. So this is the Pigmobile Lollycatcher. So, as the name implies, this car is used by the VRCHAT police, and what they do is they secretly go into different worlds, whether it be Among Us or Murder 4, Prison Escape, anything of those sorts. And what they do, they look for people that hit on lollies and they snatch them. And by that I mean they snatch the people that are hitting the lollies. They don't snatch the lollies because if they did, then we'd have a whole different case on our hands. How so? That's what this car is used for. And it's your pretty basic run-of-the-mill police car. Well, it has the VRChat logo right here on the side. They couldn't put the Lollymobile on it because if they did that, this car would be immediately totaled. And as you can see, the wheels they actually look pretty well detailed for wheels like on VRChat. We have the classic red and blue sirens for the police car, so that makes sense. We have this badge right here, this badge actually represents the company that made this car. This car was made specifically by the Discord modders that aren't obese and fat. We're gonna ignore that because, and also there's something written in the weird language here. It says Yibai Kiao, which means you need lessons. But so yeah, visually, interesting enough. Now let's go to the back where where the lolly prisoners are kept. That doesn't sound right, but let's go back there. So as you can see, I'm in the back of the Pigmobile, the of the Pigmobile model type, the Lollymobile. Actually, you know what? I don't think we should call it that. Well, actually, no, I'm keeping the name. Whatever. So, as you can see, well, right off the bat, there's a big problem. One, that you can't. There's the door handle. The door handle is fused to the wall of the door. That doesn't make sense. And also, there's no cage here, so any criminal could just reach over here and crack the neck of the police officers and drive away. So that's already scary enough. So. On the other hand, there's no real way to get out of the car. I don't know how they got in the car, and we have a lot of space right here. This is where the criminals put all their stuff, like their hidden cameras, their gags, their ball gags, their handcuffs, all that stuff. That goes in the back. So that's no seatbelts, but then again, they're criminals and they're targeting lollies, so they don't really need seatbelts. But let's go to the front and see what it looks like. So okay, so I'm in the front of the Lollymobile Pigmobile. I think that's what I called it. I kind of forgot. So, once again, we have no rear view mirror, so that's a problem. Do have mirrors on both sides, which is nice, and we do have wiper blades, which is a nice touch to this car. Um, we have the lever right here, which doesn't do anything. The door there's a door handle right here this time. So we have a pretty basic radio system right here, radio dashboard, and we have the right here. Interesting horn for a police car, and if we press this button right here, this is the siren. So let's listen to the siren. Yep, that's pretty much the run-of-the-mill siren, so we'll turn that off. And now let's drive the Lollymobile Pigmobile, and we'll see how it drives. So, let's turn it on. Excellent, turn the music off, and let's get rolling. Okay, so we're driving the Pigmobile, Lollymobile, or whatever I'm gonna call it, or whatever the title's gonna be of this video, and it goes pretty fast, which makes sense because you gotta catch those criminals. Okay, we can ignore that. Let's turn the siren up. That was the horn. Let's turn the siren off. The lights don't turn on, which is interesting, but that's not my problem. But anyway, okay, that was my fault. It drives really pretty well. It does its job. I'm stuck on the curb, but we're gonna keep driving. And so, yeah, basically, this car is used to transport criminals to prison where they belong. So let's get out of the car and let's give it its rating. So, overall, the Pigmobile model type Lollymobile, this car, I think, it's solid. It's nothing special, but it's not super bland either. It's a police car, so that gives it some points. The Makba on the side and the badge on the side is interesting enough. The concept of what this car is used for is a very good purpose. We need to stop those people from hitting on lollies, because if you hit on lollies, you definitely belong in this car. However, so this car is interesting enough, so I think we can safely give it a 7 out of 10. And with that, let's go on to our fourth car of the day. For our next car of the day, well, again, not really a car, but unlike the forklift, this is an actual vehicle that you would probably drive on the street. Um, Now this is like the Shark Thruster 9000. I think is a really interesting looking vehicle. I love the motorcycle right here, and as a girl, I would love to sit on the back that's holding the waist of a man who is taking me to probably his basement. We're gonna ignore that story, but I do think the motorcycle, the paint job on this thing, I like the flame lava look it's got going for that. It's pretty interesting. And oh, you might be wondering what this thing is called. This thing is called, according to the site, it's called the Chingpi. It's called the Chingpi, and the Chingpi is mainly used to transport tourists around villages or cities that are very tight and compacted, which is useful enough. And you can fit a good amount of people here, so overall, and you have a good protection from the rain and the sun, which is good. Okay, I just heard something get fired again, but so yeah, and so we got a good headlight right here. We have the lights. We have just one mirror. Then again, it's a motorcycle. You don't really need the mirrors all that much. We have the little tiny wheels on the back, but that's okay because this thing is powered mostly by the motorcycle half of it, and we have proper brake system right there. So let's go to the back area and let's see what that's like. So we're in the back of the Chinkpy, and as you can see, so we have pretty good space. I could sit right here. Now this is a bit of a problem because if you do that, then someone's gonna have to have your. If you sit, if because there's 4 people, one person sits here, one person sits there, one person sits there, one person's here. But then that would mean the people sitting here not only would get their legs broken from touch scraping the road, but they would also have someone's crotch pressed up against the back of their head, and that would only be a problem depending on what gender is sitting behind you and or the gender of who's sitting in front of you. But so there's a negative right there. However, there are handles we can hold on to so that way we don't fall off and break our noses. And but although it's rather comfortable here, but there is some sofas right here. Actually, let me get on there. Let me stand right. Let me sit right here. It's much more comfy. There's a lot more comfy padding right here. Again, there's more of an armrest. Instead of having to hold it, you can just do like this, or you can also hold like that if you want. You can also wrap your hand around your girl and give her a kiss before you go back home and round base 3 before going to base 4.5. You can figure out what base 4.5 is on your own time. But backspace, pretty standard. It's just meant to be here to, serve as a tourist thing. Now let's go to the seat behind me. So this car or this bike can hold a total of 9 people. 4 people on each side of this thing. Well, technically 10 people because we could have 2 people fit on this thing. So this vehicle can hold up to 10 people, which I think is pretty awesome. Again, same deal here, although this one is a bit more uncomfortable. You're sitting on the bottom end. So I'm just repeating myself if I review this section. So let's go to the bike part of it. So the bike area of the Chingpi, I know it says rickshaw right there, but I'm not going to call it the rickshaw. This is called the Chingpi. The Chingpi. Now, as you can see, it's very far. I have to lean forward to actually reach the things. But pretty standard motorcycle stuff. The mirrors, once again, I cannot see anything out of them. They're a little dusty. The dashboard is unreadable. The keys right here, and there's also a door handle right here, which is odd. But um, my feet are actually on the brake, which is actually impressive. I'm surprised that's actually working. But let's honk the horn real quick. So this bike has a car horn, which I think is interesting because that doesn't make sense at all. However, let's start the bike and let's see how she drives. So let's turn her on. Excellent. We have standard. Okay, let's go. All right, we're driving the Chingpi, and the Chingpi is very fast, which makes sense. This car is meant to. Well, it's not really a car, but whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, okay, and I just crashed it. Unfortunately, the Chingpi just crashed, so I can no longer review it. However, I still think that the Chingpi was a very interesting vehicle. The Chingpi overall, I love the design of it. The fact that this thing can hold up to 10 people is insane, and it's definitely good if you want to take your girl out or your boy out. You never know. So, I think it's a pretty standard vehicle. It is a little hard to control, and there isn't much protection from the wind. However, it does its job, so therefore the Chingpi will get about an 8 out of 10, which is a pretty good score. Not enough to beat the Shark Thruster, but enough to stay in the top. So, let's get on to our 5th and final car of the day. So for our 5th and final car of the day, we have probably one of my personal favorites of today. It's either this or the Shark Thruster. This is called the Walter White Wienermobile. And you might be wondering, why is it called the Walter White Wienermobile when it's really just a hot dog? It's really just a hot dog van or a hot dog truck. Well, I'll get to that in a minute. First, let's see what we got on the outside of the Walter White Wienermobile. So, as you can see, it's basically your standard minibus or just a little mini bus. We have this W on the front, which of course stands for Walter White, and the Wienermobile. We have a pretty basic end of a bus. We have mirrors, which also I cannot see out of. Actually, they are reflective, but they're only showing the clouds, which is a little odd to me. Over here, we have the hot dog stand. There are some hot dogs right here. And we have the thing that does close, but I'm going to leave it open for now. Actually, it doesn't open. It actually doesn't close. Pretty standard tires. So the outside of the Walter White Wienermobile is pretty standard for a hot dog bus, but this is not just your typical hot dog bus. So let's get in the back and we'll see why it's called the Walter White Wienermobile. So I'm sitting in the mat of the Walter White Wienermobile, and as you can see, it's the tables are so shiny that we can see through the bottom of the earth, and we can see the clouds on the opposite end, which I think is awesome. Right here, it's same thing right here. Although for this area, we can see what looks like a censored. I'm not gonna say what it looks like, but it looks like something that's been censored. This is where we keep the special crystals, and over here, this is the best part. We have the plates, which are we serve right here. And right here are the sticky notes. The sticky notes are what we use to write our ingredients. And right here are the wieners. However, these are not your typical wiener. Let me sit down on the mat. These are actually infused with crystal meth and a very special drug that I call silly powder. The silly powder is in here, and the meth is in there. We combine the ingredients and we turn them into hot dogs, and then the kids and everyone has them, and they all have heart attacks immediately, or they just start bleeding from the nose. But I think it's a pretty awesome thing because it only happens to the pussies here in this world. It doesn't happen to those who are strong-minded and stuff, so you'll be fine. Come try one of these. And that's why it's called the Walter White Wienermobile. But let's go to the front and see what we've got to work with. So I'm in the front of the Walter White Wienermobile, and as you can see, the floor is so perfectly clear that once again I can see the clouds. I don't know how that works. And the steering wheel. This is the weirdest steering wheel because this is literally a steering wheel. They took the word steering wheel literally. Because I mean, it's literally a wheel that steers, which is interesting. No rear view mirror. We do have wipers. No real good dashboard right here. No seat belts either, but we have a little opening here we can see to the back. Um, so pretty standard enough. The wheel is just driving. Okay, let's honk the horn. Right. Yeah, okay, it sounds just like every other car we've had today, well, mostly. So let's drive the. I don't care what that. I don't care that this says the Samabus hot dog. No, this is called. Let's drive the Walter White Wienermobile and see how it drives. So let's turn it on. Perfect. We just shut the music off, and let's get going. Okay, so the Walter White Wienermobile, it's pretty slow, but that makes sense. This is a bus meant to sell food. We're passing McDonald's. Um, so it's not fast, but it's not meant to go fast. This isn't a car I would probably pick, but I think it's pretty interesting enough. So, I think the Walter White Wienermobile is pretty solid enough. I wish it went a little faster, but that's just me personally. So I think we've driven it enough. Let's stop the car and let's see let's see its official rating. I just had a brain fart right there. Overall, the Walter White Wienermobile I thought was a pretty solid vehicle. I think that what it sells out of the side is what makes it stands out from all the other vehicles that we've had today. It's pretty interesting. I love the concept of the Walter White Wienermobile. This car was actually banned in a lot of states because of what it sells. It's actually still available in Ohio and Florida, which is unsurprising. But every other state, you're pretty much out of luck to find this one. But I think the Walter White Wienermobile is pretty awesome. So it will get a 9.5 out of 10, which means that the Walter White Wienermobile is the winner of today's video. It's the highest rating car on the show so far, and it's pretty awesome. So with that, thank you all so much for watching our second episode of Himawari's car review series. Next episode, we're going to have some other interesting cars. The first car we're going to have on the list is going to have a very interesting name, and it's going to be really weird for me to say it, especially when I describe the car. I'm not going to say what it's called yet. You're going to have to think about all that. The only clue I'm going to give you is black. So we'll look forward to that video. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye, everyone. I think I'm going to... No, let me just... Oh, yeah. Oh, we're still rolling. Cut it!